Okay, Torah, Vayishlach, page 50. Okay, yesterday we learned that Rabbi says the whole concept of a carbon is called mincha, and he starts explaining that there's mamala kolam, there's sefer kolam, there's a lokus that reveals itself infinitely in the world, finite in the world, and he says like this, that the last thing we're learning in the second paragraph was Aryeh is on the right side of the Merkava, Shod is on the left side of the Merkava, which means Aryeh, which right is greater than left, Aryeh is greater than Shod, yet down here, Aryeh, a lion, is a treifa animal, and an ox is a kosher animal. So he says because the higher the thing, the lower it falls, and that's what we're up to now. Okay, we're going to start 2, 4, 6, 8 lines in the bottom of the first column.
You said during the Mashiach time,
what
the
we're coming
would be a kosher, but how could it be? It doesn't have the hood, it doesn't chew its cow. How does it reverse it?
Because these things can be elevated. Why aren't they kosher? Why are things not kosher? Because we can't elevate it. Things we can elevate are kosher. What's that? Yeah. Things we can't elevate are not kosher. In the future, we're going to be on such a level, we can even elevate things which are not kosher, which means they're going to become kosher because they're going to be able to be elevated. Even though they don't have split hooves and chew their cuds and everything else, we're still going to be able to elevate. Okay, 8 lines in the end of the first column. He says, therefore Esav, which l'cheda is evil, is the firstborn. That's the level, like it says at the end of Vayishlach. Before the kings ruled in Bayidin, and Esav is the source of the 7 kings of Tehu that ruled. And he said, what does the pasuk say that there's about the 7 kings? He ruled, he died, he ruled, he died, he ruled, he died. So in Kabbalah says that's the level of Shviras HaKelim. The 7, because Shviras HaKelim were in the Midas of Tehu, the 7 Midas of Tehu, and therefore, who's the source of them? Esav. And he says, Shubachina Shul Yamukafir Salalad, of the, whatever the sack that surrounds the Vlad Shekod Melavad that comes even before the kid was born. But V'ikru Avlad, the primary thing is not the sack that was there, Ubetzeis Zarkan Ashulya, whatever it is, the sack that you throw out and you have the kid. Sheina Makabo, that Prinas Mak, the Fika Chaleim Nema. Therefore, about the Goyim of Esav in Tehu, it says, Rama Kol Goyim Avayim. They're exalted, meaning Yaakov or Yud Elkev, which is Havaya Lokeinu. In other words, them it's Rama Kol Goyim Havaya. They say Havaya is way out there, not that's a Makif level. But Yaakov is the level of Okev, the way it comes even into the lowest part, the heel, with meaning. Yeah, even though L'chera Yud Yaakov is Yud Okev, means it's a very limited amount of Okev. Therefore, therefore, though dafka, because it's limited, it could come into the Keli. It could be so many times. You could be by Niagara Falls, you could be very thirsty, and yet you can't drink, you can't quench your thirst. Why? There's so much water around. There's too much water. You can't limit it in a cup. You want water, you need to put it into a cup. It's the same thing, the lukus is too great. Now, dafka, when it's limited by Yud Okev, doesn't come into a primus. So Esav is the level of Makif, like you said before, the level of Klipa that nurses from the encompassing level. And Yaakov, on the other hand, is primus, Yud Okev. Vein Akeli, Yechol Kabbalah, they tzimtzum like at the level of Yud. Today, in order, in order, because it's not like this. Now, the Rabbi explained before, in the meditation of davening, you can have 2 meditations. One that creates the Mamala Kolamin, awakening of love, and the Sefer Kolamin, the encompassing level. He says, when it comes into a Keli, that means you're meditating into the level of Hashem that's in world that you can get and tolerate and handle and grasp. So that creates an internal level of love to Hashem, a deeper level of love.
So how does Esav get that level?
He doesn't.
So Yaakov Avinu, because Yaakov Avinu...
Well, that's what, when Yaakov Avinu will refine Esav,
That's when he'll get it.
that's when it's going to happen. So Yaakov Avinu thought, and I think the Rebbe says this later, Yaakov Avinu thought he can elevate Esav now, and therefore he gave him this whole gift, like we're going to learn, yeah? But the bottom line, Hashem says, it ain't happening now. It's going to happen when Mashiach comes, and therefore Esav said to Yaakov, let's go together, and Yaakov realized that Esav wasn't elevated yet, so he says, no, I'll meet you. Like Rashi said, Vayishlach Hashem Amluch, when Mashiach comes, we'll meet.
So Yaakov is Chochma of Tikkun?
Chachma of Tikkun, Okev of Tikkun. Yeah, Yaakov's Tikkun and Esav is Teil. That's the whole part.
Chochma.
Yeah. But up there in the source, Esav is higher than Yaakov. But like the Aryeh is higher than the Shor. But down here, Esav is Klipa and Yaakov is Kedusha. Shi'ar Motad Yeshba Belev Lias Machila, the heart can handle it. And even when Elokus comes, it's Gamken, Slabshis Kalim. It's through the coming into the Kalim Ashikitshanu b'mitzvah Ramachi Varim the Malka. Like what are the 248 mitzvahs corresponding, so to speak, with the 248 limbs of Hashem or of the person? Why did Hashem give us 248 positive mitzvahs? Not 5, 10, 15, 20, whatever. Because there's 248 limbs that brings down, each limb has a particular level of elokus that it brings out into itself, but it's previous, therefore it can come down. But may Avis. But in the days of the Avis, Shlohayu Torah, they didn't have Torah, Nitno Torah, Torah wasn't give meaning. Gashmis and Ruchnius cannot mix, because there was this decree, higher, higher, lower, lower. So therefore, they had different Avodah. The Be'eres, like Yitzchak dug wells, Yaakov Avinu had the sticks, he doesn't, but Avram Avinu had the hospitality. Masha'en Kein Akum and a Goy. Lefi Shuram V'Nisa Aleim, he's the level of Makiv Ovad, but because the Goy Esav comes in the level of Makiv, therefore, Ein Enichnis Tech Pnimiusam. It doesn't come into the Pnimius to be bottled, Raku Yash V'Nifer B'Fnei Atzmei. In other words, in order to have bittul, you have to feel elokus. When do you feel elokus? When elokus internalizes into the vessel, then you can feel it. Then if you feel it, then you can have bittul. If you don't feel it, then you can't have bittul. So by goyim, it's the level of makif. They're not vessels for elokus to come inside them internally. They don't have a neshama. Their body is not chosen to be a Jew. So dafka, the body of a Jew, and the neshama of a Jew, dafka, they have the ability to internalize elokus, and therefore they're the level of bittul. What?
When the thing in my kifim level have to come to previous level.
Right.
Is it only depends on the kli, or the light is different?
Both.
So it's a 9-volt battery that has the car running, or has a monkey, or is different. You understand? I don't know if I explain myself. Is it one energy coming depending on the kli behaves differently, or
the art itself is different?
Oh, the art itself is different.
In Derech Mitzvah, in Mutkoshesh Mitzvah Tefillah, which is a very famous maimer that Tzemach said that he wrote when he was before Bar Mitzvah yet, he writes over there like this. When he says, in order to understand godliness, you need to remove it from the physicality of it. The problem is, we want to understand spiritual things with physical brains and physical analogies. Okay? So he gives an example that Atzilus is like multicolored glasses. The vessels of Atzilus are multicolored vessels. You know, there's 7 principal colors, also corresponding with the 7 midas. It's all 7 because they're all different colors, like red is gevura, and this is white, and this is yellow and green, different colors. Okay. So he says, when you have let's say you have 7 glasses, different colors, and you put water into each glass. So the water really is colorless. But when you look at the glass, to you, which is reality for you, it looks red, green, yellow, orange, whatever, right? It looks with all the colors on. So he says in Atzilus, it's all one simplistic order. The Keli of Atzilus makes it chesed. In other words, like this. There's a Elokus coming into Atzilus. I'm going to get to your point in a second. There's a Elokus coming into Atzilus. When it comes into the chesed glass, so the function of it outside is chesed, even though really it's colorless. Right? Yet, and now the chassidic explains, that's why you can have the expression where it says in the Zohar, therefore he says you can have the light of chesed coming into gvura. Right? So the question is, if it's simple water, then it's not red water coming into a green glass. It's not Ora Chesed coming into Gvura. Because the light is nameless. Okay, whatever. So obviously there is something that the light has which is connected to the Keli. Why does this Or come into this Keli? In fact, in the Friedrich Rebbe's Basi Legani, at the beginning, when he discusses Sefer Kol Almin, he said both things are different. The Keli is different, and therefore the Or is different. Therefore, the light is different because this light comes into this keli, this light comes into this keli. So even though generally speaking it's simplistic or colorless water, it still comes in connected to this level, that level.
So therefore, the or for the eye cannot hear, and the or for the ear cannot see.
Correct. Even though l'chayre the neshama is one simplistic.
Right.
But let's speak in another Gashmistic Moshe that we see. We learned many times. You have a battery. Okay. You put a battery into a flashlight, it makes light. You put the flashlight, a battery into a talking toy, it talks. It moves. Now, the battery is the same battery. He's not talking, and he's not lighting, and he's not moving. It's energy. When it comes into this keli, it talks. When it comes into this keli, it gives light. When it comes into this keli, it moves.
But the neshama is different.
The neshama is a little bit different because the koyach hari'iyah, the power of sight that the neshama has, not in the essence. In the essence, it's all one simplistic power. Once the neshama is functioning in the body, then the neshama has the koyach of sight that goes into the eye, goes into hearing, it goes into the ear.
In the case of prati, is it the eye that
Yes.
makes the neshama?
No, the eye is the keli that draws down that koyach of the neshama. Therefore, if you don't have the keli, God forbid, you don't see, you don't hear. But Chassidus explains, and this is also relevant to understand this. You know, we learned many times in Hebrew, a blind person in the Gemara is called Sagi Nahar. In Gemara it's called Sagi Nahar. In Hebrew it's called Iver, which means blind. In Gemara it's called Sagi Nahar. Sagi Nahar in English means abundance of light. So Chassidus explains why is a blind person called Sagi Nahar. So the simple reason is not in Chassidus. Simple reason is we want to speak positive. Like we call a cemetery Beis HaChaim, we don't call Beis HaMavis. Okay, right? Beis HaMesim. We call the home of the dead, we call the home of the living. Okay, so it says let's speak nice. Chassidus explains no. Why is a person blind? Because there's too much light for the keli. Meaning, either the keli it's broken, and therefore the light is too much for the broken keli, therefore it can't come in. In other words, a person is blind not because he's missing the koyach of sight. The koyach of sight he has. But if there's something wrong in the vessel, or something wrong in the connection, in the link between the neshama and the body, meaning there's too much or for the keli because the keli is broken, that's why the person is blind. Which Chassidus explains a very simple medical thing. You know, you can have blind parents giving birth to seeing children. How do you have what you don't? So in science, I mean, the genes, they skip a generation. Maybe you can have things skip. So this explains, no. The parents that are blind could see. They have the koyach of sight. It's not that they don't have the koyach. They have the ability to see. The vessels, something's wrong with it. So therefore, they're giving over to the child the power of sight. If their vessels are not messed up, they can see. Again, it's the same concept. If the art is too much for the keli, then you don't hit the keli, can't get it. That's the level of makif. Makif is too powerful to come into a keli, so they get goyim, get nothing. So there's no bittul whatsoever.
So they can have the power to make this connection?
Not tzaddikim. Every Jew, you do a mitzvah, you're bringing makif into pnimi.
But for somebody whose keli is not receiving, the connection is not connected.
No, every Jew is connected. That's what I'm saying. By a Jew, you're always connected.
God forbid what?
No.
The tzaddik can make that connection between prati and that.
You mean, can a tzaddik give you a bracha to see?
Right.
Of course, we know thousands of stories. What do they do?
So it's not a miracle.
You weren't last night at the Chumash class. We discussed it in the bracha, tefillah, but yeah, they could bring it down. Okay, next. Okay, no, paragraph and column 2. Vine, Karbonis, a malos man. Karbonis is elevating world telukus, right? What do? You take an animal, right? What do? You take an animal, you burn it on the mizbech, and the flame goes up, and the animal is elevated, and so on. So he says, just like smell brings the soul back, you know, God forbid somebody faints, you give him something sharp to smell. They elevate. Man is mayim nukfim, which is the Kabbalah word for isarusa de lasata, awakening from below. Meaning, gili amshachas v'ashrosh chinase. They are to bring down the level of the Shechina. That Elokus should be revealed in the person. What does a carbon do? It elevates the world, that the world now becomes a keli, and therefore Elokus can be revealed, because now it's a keli. Therefore the word Reach Nichayach Lashon Yeridam Nichayach, Chassidus explains, like it says, Chassin is Nechay's Darga. Nichayach is Nechay's Darga, meaning going down a level. Because, what does it mean? That there should be a descent of Elokus coming from the highest of levels. That until it comes into the nefesh of the person. Mamish in the panemius of the person. So what does the carbon do? Very simple. It elevates the world. We picture again, physical. It goes up and it becomes more refined. That means elevating the world. It's not going anywhere. You elevate the world means you refine it. So then it becomes a keli for Elokus to be revealed. And therefore, by the way, Chassidus explains that every carbon, when you brought a carbon, you didn't elevate that particular animal. You elevated everything. And therefore, every carbon had daimim semechai medaber. You had the person bringing the carbon, you had the animal, you had the flower offering, which most carbonas had some type of, and then you had water, whatever it was, daimim, inanimate. So every carbon that a person brought really had daimim semechai medaber. So therefore, when a person brought a carbon, not only do they elevate that particular carbon that he brought, that animal, he elevated everything in the world. And he says, "Vatam inyan Allah's man." He says, like, what's the analogy of a elevating man? He says, you want to get something from the king, you bring him a present, right? That's what they used to do in the olden days. Today they impeach him instead, but today they used to bring him a gift. That the king should lower himself to give your minor request which is nothing. In other words, like this: you come to a king. A king is the super great thing, right? And you're asking for a stupid little request, which every request in connection to the king is trivial. So, what's causing the king now to come into your trivial matter? The gift that you brought him. It says like this: by something new. In other words, you want to bring something to the king, you don't bring him a few bucks. Because that he has, it's nothing new for him. You want to bring something to the king to get him awakened, to answer your request, you bring him something unique, cute. A chiddush, like he says, like the talking bird. Like the bird that talks, a parrot, yeah? What's the greatness of a parrot everybody goes crazy about? People talk much better than a bird. So what's unique about a parrot? He says it's the chiddush, shatzipur tedaber. Because the birds don't talk, it's the same thing. When your kid starts talking, yeah, before they start talking, you can't shut them up anymore. But when they start talking, everybody goes crazy. There are videos and they're sending it all around the world. And the kid said half a word incorrectly, but it's a big simcha. What's the simcha? Because it's something new. He never spoke, and now he's speaking. And that's Bechal, by the way. We learned this many times. Chassidus explains that the purpose of a neshama coming into this world is like we learned. Neshamas in Gan Eden tzaddikim. They're coming into the world to become Baal Tshuva. What's unique about a Baal Tshuva? The Rambam says, very simple. Why is Hashem like a Baal Tshuva? Why is a Baal Tshuva greater than a tzaddik? He says, very simple. It's something new. That a tzaddik is good. He's a goody-goody. A tzaddik is always good. What's the big deal? That a Baal Tshuva who is bad, so to speak, and now becomes good, that's a big simcha by Hashem. So that a neshama in Gan Eden is holy and recognizes godliness, what's the big deal? That a neshama comes into the world of Shabbat, is tahara, elam, helam, concealment, and still does mitzvah. That's a big chiddush.
Rabbi, but to the king that has all the parrots already in the world, what is the...
So you don't bring him a parrot, you bring him something else.
What can you bring a king that has everything?
What does that have to do with this? Find out.
No, I'm saying for Hashem, he has everything. What is the chiddush of us?
The chiddush is to us that we bring it. For us it's new. For us it's new. Meaning, when a person doesn't want to do a mitzvah, and they do it, yeah, and the person's level, that's something new. Because normally we're creatures of habit. I don't want to do it, I don't do it. Right? It's called Kabbalah soil. Yeah?
It's raining in a tent, and you go to daven.
It doesn't rain in the tent.
It rains on top.
It does.
He says like this. From the chiddush that the bird talks, he takes the heart of the king, which is infinite, and that's the whole concept of a korban. A korban is something new, that we take something gashmius, physical, animalistic, and we bring it as a korban to Hashem. Whether it's a physical animal, it doesn't matter. Lochein alos man toli b'surusa d'l'sata daika nefashis Yisrael amulubashim beguf. Therefore, it's only Jews and not malachim. He says, Hagam malachim ein d'brum eilam. Lochein malachim are in a higher level. V'tamin misheshis imei breishis b'li hefsik. They say b'yira kodesh and they say baruch and all that stuff. Yeah. Gam b'das yesi yidabru, and lochein they speak with a great understanding of Elokus than we do. Yeah, but Mashenk and Lamata, down here, we're a much lower level. There's Machshav Zaris, Rabbi said through this, there's the foreign thoughts that bother the person, and make him fall down. Even the love that you awaken, even when we do finally wake up, after 10 minutes it dies again, like the heat. So why only Yidden can do this? Why only Yidden can bring down Elokus into the world and Malachim can't? He said, Dafka because of Chiddush Shebezeh. Dafka because of the uniqueness that a Malach does it. In other words, like this. In world, people like new things. That's the nature of a person. Like we said many times, a person goes on vacation. If you think about it, it's the most stupid, ridiculous thing to do. There's more comfort in your home, even the best hotel. It's still more comfortable in your home. It's a whole house in one room. You don't have to pack. You don't have to do everything is there. Think about it. A house, being home, being home is main order. So what's unique? Why do people go on vacation? Pay big bucks? Because it's a change of scenery. It's something new. And something new people like. Why down here is that concept existing, that we like something new? Because in Elokus, Hashem likes something new. And that's why he sent the neshama down. Because in the Neshama, in Gan Eden, Malachim, all that stuff, nothing's going to happen. No, yeah, it's not going to happen because it's SOS. Who gives us the ability to speak is Achilu Shtiyah. If you don't eat 3 days, Nasa Cholush, you become very weak. We don't function after 1 day, or 2 hours. Or you can't even speak properly. Why? What does food have to do with speaking? Think about it. Because I'm not eating, therefore my brain doesn't work. Or I can't talk. Why? Yeah, like Meniya Sakar or cold or whatever. Therefore, Dibur. Now, Rebbe is asking a question like this. I mean, he's alluding to a question to this house. Why is a person called Medaber? Animals also speak. Like what? If anything, we should be called Mechashev, thinking, maskil, have seichel. Well, what's the uniqueness of Dibur? We're called Medaber. He says because the existence in Gashmis of talking and all that comes from food, comes from Gashmis, and that's Yakum Eid B'nei Hashem. That's tremendously precious by Hashem, like the marshal of the tzibur, okay, and the same thing called Akabanis. Kvasim v'izim mi'eslavshus biyah. L'chshein therefore she'el l'mayla. Okay. What? The chiddush is that in Gashmis we make Gashmis ruchnias.
That's why we're calling it called the Dabber and not...
Because our koyach comes of speech, which basically represents bringing the goods, is from eating and drinking from Gashmis.